You've been told corn ruled the American crops, but what if I told you there's a forgotten supercrop that's more nutritious, more reliable, and more resilient than corn ever was? A plant so powerful it could feed your family through drought, pack more protein than wheat, and survive where corn fails. For generations, it was the secret weapon of American farmers, until it vanished. Why did we abandon it? And is it time to bring it back? Let's go back to a time before cornfields stretched from Ohio to Nebraska, before soybeans and wheat dominated the Midwest. There was a crop that American farmers once trusted as their secret weapon, a plant that could feed a family, fatten livestock, and survive the kind of weather that would wipe out a field of corn in a week. This was the crop that made the difference between a lean winter and a full pantry, the one that old-timers called their insurance policy when the rains didn't come. What made it so remarkable? This plant shrugged off heat, drought, and poor soil. Its deep roots pulled moisture from where other crops dried up. In the Dust Bowl years, when cornfields withered, this supercrop kept producing. It was the difference between a failed harvest and a full pantry. Old-timers remember it as the survivor crop, the one that never let you down, even in the worst years. Unlike corn, which only gives you kernels, this crop gave you two harvests, protein-rich seeds and leafy greens. The leaves were packed with iron and calcium, and the seeds had more protein than any cereal grain grown in America. 1 acre could yield up to 3,000 pounds of grain with minimal water. The plant was so productive that a single stalk could produce up to 200,000 seeds in a season. It was a true double-duty crop. Feed for the family, feed for the animals, and a backup for hard times. Modern nutritionists are amazed by this plant. The seeds contain up to 16% protein, almost double that of corn, and have all the essential amino acids. The leaves have more calcium than spinach and nearly as much protein as milk. It's gluten-free, rich in antioxidants, and even contains rare compounds linked to heart health. A single cup of cooked grain packs 9 grams of protein, 5 grams of fiber, and more minerals than rice or wheat. It's a nutritional powerhouse that puts corn, wheat, and even quinoa to shame. But it wasn't just nutritious, it was practical. The seeds, if kept dry, could last for years in storage, resisting insects and mold better than corn. Old-timers kept jars of it in the cellar as a hedge against hard times. In survival terms, it was nature's all-in-one meal, ready to keep families alive through the harshest winters and longest droughts. Archaeologists have found ancient jars of it, perfectly preserved alongside maize and granaries. In the 1970s and 80s, American scientists and health food pioneers rediscovered this crop and called it the grain of the future. It was featured in Mother Earth News, organic gardening, and even tested by NASA for space farming. NASA's interest wasn't just hype. This crop grows fast, produces both grain and greens, and regenerates quickly under stress. It was a candidate for feeding astronauts on long missions, thanks to its resilience and nutritional profile. So why did it disappear? In the early 20th century, as American agriculture industrialized, this crop was pushed aside in favor of corn, wheat, and soybeans, crops that fit the new machinery and government subsidies. Some states even discouraged its cultivation, calling it a weed. The rise of industrial combines and federal farm policy meant that crops with tiny seeds and delicate harvests were left behind. Corn and wheat got the subsidies, the marketing, and the machines. This crop got forgotten, but the plant never truly vanished. Gardeners and small farmers kept it alive in backyard plots and community gardens. Heirloom seed savers traded it quietly, and a few organic farms still grow it today for specialty markets and health food stores. In some parts of the country, you'll find it in old family recipes. popped like popcorn, cooked into porridge, or baked into breads. Some folks remember their grandparents making sweet bars with its seeds and honey, a tradition that's being rediscovered by a new generation. Today, this crop is making a comeback. Nutritionists call it a superfood. It's gluten-free, high in protein, and loaded with minerals. Chefs are using it in everything from salads to energy bars. Some American breweries are even experimenting with it in craft beers. In Africa, where it was reintroduced in the 20th century, its greens are now one of the most widely eaten vegetables. Studies show its leaves deliver twice the vitamin C of kale and more iron than spinach. With climate change bringing hotter summers and unpredictable rain, farmers are looking for crops that can handle the new normal. This supercrop is at the top of the list. It needs 30 to 50% less water than corn and can produce 2,000 to 3,000 pounds of grain per acre, even in dry years. Its deep roots let it thrive in semi-arid regions, and it can grow in rocky ground with minimal water. The United Nations now lists it among the top underutilized crops that could help feed billions in a warming world. Small farms and backyard gardeners are leading the revival. Seed companies are offering more varieties, and demand is growing at farmers' markets and health food stores. It's still a tiny part of the food system, but the trend is clear. This crop is coming back. Health food advocates, small organic farms, and backyard gardeners are leading a quiet revival. Modern research confirms what old-timers knew. This crop is a complete food, a climate survivor, and a reliable backup when other crops fail. Its seeds store for years, its greens are packed with nutrients, and it can thrive where other crops die. With more protein than rice, more calcium than milk, and more iron than spinach, it could help fight malnutrition and food insecurity in America. If it's so good, why don't we see it everywhere? The short answer: money, machines, and politics. Corn and wheat got the subsidies, the combines, and the marketing. This crop got labeled a weed. But as the climate changes, the world is taking another look. With food prices rising and droughts getting worse, this supercrop could be the answer for small farmers and gardeners looking for resilience. It's already being grown in Africa, India, and South America as a solution to hunger and malnutrition. So, what is this miracle plant? Amaranth. Once a staple on American farms, now almost forgotten. It's not just one plant, but a family of about 60 species, many cultivated for both seed and leaves. In the U.S., it's sometimes called pigweed, but for generations, it was respected as a grain of the future. Amaranth's story is also a story of American innovation and loss. In the 1980s, Nebraska and Minnesota farmers tried to bring it back as a commercial crop. They found it could thrive on marginal land, required little fertilizer, and produced a reliable yield even in dry years. But without government support or a big market, most gave up today. A handful of organic farms and seed companies are keeping the tradition alive. The plant's resilience is legendary. Amaranth can grow in rocky, depleted soils where corn and soybeans fail. Its deep tap roots pull up nutrients and moisture, making it a natural fit for regenerative agriculture and no-till farming. Some researchers believe it could help restore degraded farmland across the Midwest and Great Plains. Amaranth isn't just for food. Its flowers produce natural red and purple dyes, once used to color bread, fabrics, and even ceremonial objects. The oil pressed from its seeds contains squalene, a rare compound linked to heart health and used in cosmetics and pharmaceuticals. In Mexico, popped amaranth seeds are mixed with honey or syrup to make alegría, a sweet bar whose name literally means joy. This isn't a modern invention. It's the direct descendant of the cakes American farm kids once carried in their lunch pails. In Pueblo villages, Amaranth flowers are still used for natural dyes in bread and ceremonial objects. NASA's interest in amaranth isn't just about nutrition. The plant's ability to regenerate quickly, produce both grain and greens, and thrive in stressful conditions makes it a candidate for space farming. Imagine astronauts harvesting amaranth on Mars. Science fiction, maybe, but based on real research. Despite all this, amaranth is still a tiny part of the global food system. U.S. farm policy and mechanization favor corn and wheat, and amaranth's tiny seeds don't fit modern combines, but demand is growing. Health food advocates, small organic farms, and backyard gardeners are leading a quiet revival. Amaranth's deep taproots, broad leaves, and self-seeding nature make it a survivor. It can grow in rocky ground with minimal water, and its biology lets it photosynthesize efficiently even in scorching sunlight. Some oral histories call it the plant that waits, ready to produce food when everything else fails. With 30% more protein than rice, more calcium than milk, and more iron than spinach, amaranth could help fight malnutrition and food insecurity in America. It's gluten-free, antioxidant-rich, and even its oil contains rare compounds linked to heart health. In the 1980s, the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization listed amaranth as one of the top underutilized crops that could help feed the world. Modern trials show it can produce 2,000 to 3,000 pounds of grain per acre, even with limited irrigation. Its deep roots let it thrive in semi-arid regions, and it needs 30 to 50% less water than corn. Amaranth's seeds are tiny, but they pack a punch. They can be ground into flour, popped like popcorn, or cooked into porridge. The greens are tender and mild, perfect for salads or sautéing. In some parts of the world, amaranth greens are the most widely eaten vegetable. Ask any old hog farmer what puts finish on a pig: steady protein, digestible energy, minerals. Amaranth delivers all three. Farmers used to cut it young for green chop, dry it for hay, then let the seed heads mature for scratch feed. Chickens went nuts for it, laying richer, darker yolked eggs. A Rhode Island poultryman's 1912 notebook shows a simple formula: 1 scoop cracked corn, 1 scoop oats, 1 scoop amaranth. Hens lay steady all winter. Dairy folks noticed something else. Cows pastured on amaranth-rich forage kept their condition through August heat. On mixed farms, it became the safety valve. Toss the seed heads into the hog pen, sweep the chaff to the birds, feed the stems to the steer. Nothing wasted, everything used. Our great-grandparents ate amaranth like a pantry Swiss Army knife. Morning porridge with a knob of butter and blackstrap molasses. Noon skillet cakes, half cornmeal, half amaranth flour, fried in bacon drippings. Supper stew stretched with a handful of toasted grain to thicken the broth. And on Sundays, joy bars. Popped amaranth mixed with honey and crushed nuts, pressed in a pan, cut into squares for kids' lunches. Amaranth disappeared not because it was inferior, but because it was inconvenient to a system chasing speed and uniformity. It asks for care at harvest, a little patience at cleaning, and a community that sees value in more than 2 crops. For a century, we rewarded throughput and punished resilience. Now, the weather is punishing us back. Maybe it's time to reward the plants that stand their ground. Despite all this, amaranth is still a tiny part of the global food system. U.S. farm policy and mechanization favor corn and wheat, and amaranth's tiny seeds don't fit modern combines. But demand is growing. Health food advocates, small organic farms, and backyard gardeners are leading a quiet revival. Modern research confirms what American farmers knew a century ago. Amaranth is a complete food, a climate survivor, and a crop that can feed people when all else fails. Its seeds store for years. Its greens are packed with nutrients, and it can thrive where other crops die. We won't fix drought with one plant, but we can fix a mindset. Resilience is diversity. It's farms that don't bet the whole season on one crop. It's pantries with more than one grain in a jar. It's communities that keep knowledge alive. Amaranth won't ask for much. Give it sun, a little space, and the dignity of being called what it is, food. History suggests Amaranth already saved American families once. As the world gets hotter and hungrier, this forgotten supercrop may step forward again as the survivor crop we all desperately need. The story doesn't end here. Maybe it's just beginning. Amaranth was once the backbone of American gardens, erased by industrial agriculture and nearly forgotten. But as the world faces new challenges, this ancient supercrop might be the key to our future. Hit that subscribe button to discover more hidden secrets from America's agricultural past. And check out the next video on your screen about the lost crops your great-grandparents grew that you need to bring back today.